7 days. That's all this week is, 7 days. And yet, astrologically, energetically, spiritually, this particular 7 days contains more compressed transformation energy than most months put together. We have Mars and Saturn shaking hands on Sunday and telling every woman who has been quietly doing the work, it's compounding. We have Jupiter forming not one, but two simultaneous alignments on Monday. One to Neptune that says, your faith is not delusional, it's prophetic. And to one that Pluto that says, the very truth you've been avoiding is actually your next breakthrough. So we have Jupiter cracking a door open on Tuesday that historically precedes what people describe as overnight life changes. We have Leo season arriving on Wednesday and asking every woman who has been playing small to become, well, frankly, unrecognizable. And then Mercury goes direct on Thursday. The fog lifts, the words return, the path forward becomes clear. This is the week of July 19th through July 25th, 2026. And if you have been waiting for the cosmos to give you a signal, this is it. I want to tell you something before we go any further into the astrology. I have spent a significant portion of my life not knowing that I was allowed to want more, not knowing that the blocks that I was carrying, the ones that felt like the personality traits, just how I am, were actually removable, that they had a beginning and could have an end. I thought the exhaustion was mine to keep. I thought the smallness was mine to keep. And I thought the version of me that had spent years pouring into everyone else and quietly disappearing in the process, I thought that was just the deal. And then something shifted, not all at once. It never happens all at once, but slowly through practice, through sitting with uncomfortable truths, through learning to read the sky and the ancient teachings and my own body, I began to understand something that changed everything. The blocks are not you. They are what's in the way of you. I wrote about this in my journal called My Journey to Myself. It has 400 prompts for women who are ready to stop performing their lives and start actually living them. And I share it every day in our Phoenix Renewal Hour. This is a community that Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on TikTok and on YouTube starting this week. We work on removing the blocks and starting self-discovery. Becoming is the work. And this week's astrology is one of the most powerful cosmic backdrops I have seen in a very long time. So let's go deep. Let's talk about what the sky is actually doing and what the Buddhist and yogic traditions have been teaching us to do about it for thousands of years. We open the week on Sunday with Mars forming a sextile to Saturn. And I want you to understand and why this is significant for women who have been quietly doing their inner work. Mars is the planet of drive, action, and forward momentum. Saturn is the planet of time, structure, and earned mastery. A sextile is a harmonious aspect. These two planets cooperating, not competing. What they agree on this Sunday is this: sustained, consistent effort produces permanent results. Not overnight, not dramatically, slowly and visibly, and then suddenly all at once. The moon is in Virgo, the sign of devoted practice, of showing up with your whole self, even when no one is watching. And I want to speak directly to the women who have been doing exactly that. The women who have been meditating, journaling, sitting with uncomfortable feelings instead of running from them, choosing themselves quietly, unglamorously every single day. Mars sextile Saturn on Sunday is the cosmos saying it is compounding. You cannot see the interest yet, but the account is growing. The middle way is not about doing less. It is about doing what is right consistently, completely, without the extremes of striving or collapse. That is a quote from the Buddha. The Buddhist tradition calls this the middle way, and Mars sextile Saturn is the astrological twin, not the frantic hustle of Mars unchecked, not the rigid withholding of Saturn alone, but the steady, sustainable, purposeful showing up that actually creates lasting change. In yoga, we call this abhasa, devoted practice. The Yoga Sutras of Panja say that practice becomes firmly grounded when it is cultivated for a long time without interruption and with sincere devotion. This Sunday, your devoted practice has a planetary tailwind. Trust what you've been building. Monday is the most spiritually layered day of the entire week, and I want to give you both sides of it clearly because they are very different energies that are happening simultaneously. Jupiter forms a trine to Neptune. Jupiter is our planet of expansion, abundance, and faith. Neptune is our planet of dreams, spirituality, and the invisible world. A trine is a pure harmony, these two singing together in fire signs. What this means practically, the spiritual vision you have been holding for your life, the one that sometimes feels too big, too unlikely, too far away, the cosmos is saying today, it is not delusion, it is prophetic. Your faith is not wishful thinking. It is the most powerful thing you have. Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark. But here is where Monday gets deep because Jupiter is also opposing Pluto on the same day. Pluto is the planet of buried truth, the deep, hidden, powerful things we carry beneath the surface, old wounds, patterns we've never named, the thing we keep circling without looking directly at it. Jupiter in opposition illuminates it, brings it up, makes it very visible. I know that can sound kind of threatening, but here is what I need you to hear. Pluto doesn't bring things to the surface to punish you. It brings them up because they are ready to be healed. The thing that surfaces on Monday is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It is evidence that something in you is finally strong enough to look at it. The lotus grows in the muddy water. Jupiter trine Neptune shows you the bloom. Jupiter opposite Pluto shows the roots in the dark that made it possible. Both are the same flower. Both are you. Tuesday brings Jupiter sextile Uranus, and this is the transit that historically shows up right before people describe their lives as changing seemingly overnight. I want to be clear about what overnight change actually looks like under this energy, because it is almost never a lightning bolt from the sky. It is a message you finally reply to, an idea that crystallizes after months of circling, a door you've been standing in front of that you finally decisively walk through. Jupiter in Leo is bold, creative, abundant. Uranus in Gemini, electric, innovative, fast. A sextile is an opportunity aspect. The door is wide open. But Uranus-flavored opportunities have a particular texture. They arrive unexpectedly. They feel slightly too big or slightly too soon, and your first instinct is often to talk yourself out of it. Don't do that. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Suzuki Roshi's teaching on beginner's mind is perfectly suited to Uranus energy. Uranus rewards the woman who says yes before she has it all figured out. It rewards the beginner who picks up the brush, the woman who starts before she's ready, the person who steps through the door without knowing exactly what's on the other side. In yoga, this is the energy of Vasaka crow pose. You cannot ease into it. You cannot think your way into it. You have to commit. You lean forward, you trust, and then you fly. That's Tuesday. On Wednesday, the sun moves into Leo, and Leo season begins. I want to say something about Leo season that most astrology content gets wrong. Leo is not about performing. It is not about being the loudest person in the room or the most polished presence on the screen, right? Leo at its truest is about authentic expression, the part of you that exists not to be liked, but to be expressed. The sun is Leo's ruling planet, and when it moves into this sign each year, something activates in women who have been dimming their light. Some permission gets issued from somewhere here deep inside of us. Some part of you that has been waiting remembers, oh, right, I'm allowed to take up space. I became the phoenix because I had spent years not knowing I was allowed to. The reinvention didn't happen in a dramatic moment. It happened in 1,000 small decisions to stop shrinking and start becoming. Leo season is that invitation, cosmically amplified for all of us. And the Scorpio moon alongside it today makes this even richer because Scorpio is the deepest water, the truth seeker, the part of us that asks, but who are you really beneath the performance? Leo season doesn't want your highlight reel. It wants your authentic fire. Your work is to discover your world and then, with all your heart, give yourself to it. That is a quote from the Buddha. Discover your world. Give yourself to it completely, unapologetically. That is Leo season's instruction. That is the Phoenix path. And this Wednesday, the cosmos makes it official. Thursday, July 23rd, Mercury stations direct. The retrograde that began June 29th, the one that has had communication, foggy decisions, murky, and all those emotions running in every direction is over. Mercury was retrograde in Cancer, the sign of the emotions, home, deep feeling, and the inner life, which means this retrograde wasn't just about technology or inconvenience. It was a deep emotional review. The cosmos asking, what are you actually feeling? What have you been carrying that you haven't named? What do you know to be true that you haven't been willing to say out loud? Mercury Cazimi, the moment of peak clarity during the retrograde, happened on July 12th. If something became crystal clear for you around that time, a decision that suddenly made sense or an emotional truth you finally named, that is what Mercury going direct is asking you to act on. Not someday, this week. The clarity window is freshest right now. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Buddhist right speech teaches that before we speak, we ask 4 questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Is it the right time? After weeks of Mercury retrograde, when none of those 4 questions had clean answers, Thursday brings the alignment. It is true. It is time. The words that have been searching for themselves, they're here. In yoga, we would say this is the opening of Bushada, the throat chakra, the energy center of authentic expression and truth. When Mercury goes direct in Cancer, the throat opens and the heart finally finds its voice. Speak this week. Say a true thing. Friday brings Mercury, sextile Venus, and ancient astrologers called this the silver tongue transit. I want to explain why. Mercury, direct in Cancer, emotional, intuitive, heart-led, communication, Venus in Virgo, graceful, precise, determining. When they harmonize, they produce something rare. Truth spoken with love. The conversation you've been putting off, the feeling you couldn't find words for, the boundary that needed to be spoken kindly but clearly, Friday is the day those words arrive, and they arrive right. The Sagittarius moon adds one more instruction. Don't have the surface conversation. Have the real one, not the small grievance, the deep truth underneath it. In the sky, there is no distinction of east and west. People create distinctions out of their own minds and then believe them to be true. That is a quote from the Buddha. This teaching is about the distinctions we create between what we feel and what we say. Mercury, sextile Venus, dissolves that distance, the division between your inner truth and your outer expression. Friday says it doesn't have to exist this way. Let them meet, let them join up. And then Saturday arrives, first quarter moon. We are exactly halfway between the new moon intentions you set on July 14th and the full moon harvest arriving on July 29th. And I want to be completely honest with you about what the first quarter moon does, because most astrology content doesn't say this clearly enough. The first quarter moon is designed to create resistance. It is a test built into the lunar cycle itself. The magic of the new moon has worn off. The result isn't here yet. And right in the middle of that gap, your block shows up, loudest it's ever been. The old story resurfaces. The voice that says, this isn't working. Who did you think you were? Maybe next month. That voice is not the truth. That voice is the first quarter moon doing its only job, testing whether your intention was real or just inspiration. The Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree and was visited by Mara, the force of doubt, distraction, and fear, right at the threshold of his awakening. He didn't fight it. He didn't run. He touched the earth and said, I am here. I am staying. This is your practice this Saturday. Touch the earth. Say, I am here. I am staying. The full moon harvest is 4 days away. Don't quit at the first quarter. So let's look at this week as a complete arc, because there is one. Sunday, the cosmos honors your devoted practice. Your consistency is compounding, even when you can't see it. Mars and Saturn say, keep going. The middle way says, steady and sustainable wins. Monday, your faith is validated by Jupiter and Neptune. And Pluto brings up what's been buried, not to undo you, but because you're finally ready to face it. On Tuesday, a door opens, unexpected, electric, a little bit too big. Just walk through it anyway. Then on Wednesday, Leo season arrives, and your authentic self, the one underneath the performance, underneath the role, underneath the years of becoming what everyone else needed you to be. That person steps forward. Thursday, Mercury goes direct and your voice returns. What you've been feeling but couldn't say now can be said. And then Friday, say it with love, the truth and the grace together. Saturday, the test, stay. The trouble is, you think you have time. The Buddha. The yogic tradition teaches that transformation doesn't happen gradually and then suddenly. It happens in every moment you choose it. Every time you show up for your practice when you don't feel like it. Every time you speak the true thing when silence would have been easier. Every time you stay when the first quarter moon tells you to quit. This week is a complete curriculum in the work of becoming, and the sky has arranged it perfectly if you show up for it. If this resonated with you, if some part of what we've talked about today landed somewhere real, I want to invite you into the community where we do this work every single day. Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, I am live on both YouTube and TikTok for the Phoenix Renewal Hour. We go deep into the daily astrology, the Buddhist teachings, the yogic wisdom, and we do it together. because this work is harder alone and better in a community. If you're at the beginning of this journey, if you're the woman who knows something needs to change but isn't sure yet where to start, my journal, My Journey to Myself, has 400 prompts designed specifically for women who are ready to stop going through the motions and start actually discovering who they are. The link is in the description and in my bio, and it is sold on Amazon. It's for women who are ready to build something, and something true. And if you're a woman who is ready to build something independent in a second act that is actually just yours, my book, AI Side Hustles for Women, is also linked below and sold on Amazon. The full moon is coming on July 29th, the buck moon, the moon of full, visible, undeniable growth. And between now and then, this week is your preparation, your cleaning, your clearing, your becoming. Show up for it. I'll see you in the Phoenix renewal hours, and I'll see you in the comments as well. And I'll see you on the other side